It's Friday, March 13th. This is CTV at 6. Here's what's making news tonight. Fuel prices are on the move here as global prices continue to rise. Ahead of Hollywood's biggest night, our film critic makes his pick for the Oscars.
It's a mix of snow and rain Saturday with more ups and downs for temperature heading into next week.
Live from our Maritimes News Center, this is CTV News at 6. Here is Todd Battis.
Good afternoon. Late this afternoon, Nova Scotia's Energy Board issued a notice that fuel prices will be adjusted at midnight. That almost certainly means another price jump, likely bringing the province in line with the rest of the Maritimes. CTV's Derek Haggett leads us off with the big numbers.
Another day, another price surge at the pumps in New Brunswick.
Yesterday it wasn't this high, and it went up a lot. It's just a lot of money, and some of us really don't have all the funds in the world to take care of the price of gas.
Regular self-serve in the province jumped by 7 cents a litre this morning. As the war in Iran and international instability continues, so too does the volatility of gas prices.
Well, it's definitely putting the price of fuel through the roof, but it goes up, it comes down, so it doesn't really change us. Customers know they just have to pay it. There's no way around it.
I have to drive like 15 minutes on the highway every day to go to work, so like it or not, like that's half an hour back and forth, so it's a lot of gas. It adds up.
Big time, money-wise. You need something that you need, right? You're going to pay whatever the price is pretty well.
In Nova Scotia, regular self-serve stayed the same, but the interrupter clause will once again be invoked after midnight, meaning the prices of all grades of fuel will be adjusted. The change comes due to significant shifts in market prices. On Prince Edward Island, the price of regular gasoline increased almost 3 cents today. The province is switching to twice-weekly price adjustments on Tuesdays and Fridays until further notice.
I think it's time to modernize our thought about regulated prices, and given the advent of the internet, it's been around for a couple of years, maybe much easier to go back to what really did work, and people can judge for themselves and allow competition.
As for when pump prices might come down,
I feel it's going to go up a little bit more. That's how I feel, but time will tell.
Derek Haggett, CTV News, Moncton.
Now, while motorists cringe at the prices, it's a more dire situation on maritime farms. With planting season on its way, farmers are dreading the cost of diesel and other items vital to their work. CTV's Jonathan McGuinness reports from the Annapolis Valley.
These group of calves here get fed once a day, sometimes twice a day.
Victor Olton has a hungry herd to take care of. The cost of feeding them continues to rise.
It's concerning for sure because we don't know how long this could stay up. It could be, and it could go higher. We don't know.
The new year began with diesel prices sitting at $1.55. It's now $2.11. That's a jump of 56 cents a liter. Olton tries to cut corners elsewhere to make his budget work.
We try to as much as we can, but everything still needs to be fed, and everything. We have mainly livestock, mainly cattle.
Attacks on ships in the Strait of Hormuz has halted tanker traffic, disrupting 20% of the world's oil supply. There's no end in sight to the United States-Israel-led war with Iran, meaning fuel prices could continue to climb.
Petroleum underlies everything that we do, right from fueling our tractors to planting our crops to even inputs into the materials that we use for packaging and that sort of thing.
Catherine Manning from the Nova Scotia Federation of Agriculture says concerns over costs is difficult for farmers to deal with, especially before their busy season gets started.
I always find the spring daunting because we've just come out of a drought year, so we don't know what we're heading into. We've, had floods the year before that, so it's always daunting. So this geopolitical stuff that's going on just adds another layer.
Another layer of uncertainty in an already unpredictable job where costs are closely monitored by both industry and consumers. And Todd, Catherine Manning says farmers are already feeling the pinch, but things could soon get worse. She's about 2 weeks from firing up these tractors to get the fields ready for planting. So she's hoping fuel prices start to settle down before April gets here. Todd.
And she's certainly not alone, John. Thank you very much in Falmouth this evening. And still with the economy, we got news today that Canada's unemployment rate rose again. The details are at ctvnewsatlantic.ca. Minutes ago, the RCMP in Nova Scotia issued a warning about a high-risk offender who is wanted. This is 45-year-old Patrick Celestine Hislop. He has multiple criminal convictions for sexual offenses, including sexual assault and sexual interference involving a youth. Hislop is wanted on a province-wide arrest warrant for failing to comply with a release order. If you spot him, you are urged to call police. A driver was taken to hospital after a crash in Nova Scotia's Annapolis Valley. This happened during the noon hour on Highway 1 in Colebrook. A Volkswagen Jetta went off the road and, as you can see there, ended up in the river. The driver, the only person in the car, was rushed to hospital for treatment. There is no word on the cause of that crash. There's a live look at Uptown St. John right now, 1 degree. Let's bring in CTV meteorologist Kayla Mitchell. It was bright and sunny in a lot of places, but it came with wind that brought those temperatures down, hey?
Yeah, and first thing this morning as well, and maybe even into this afternoon, some slippery roads, because in the backside of that cold front that made its way through last night, there was that changeover to some snow and some ice pellets. Here's a look at some reports as to how much the snow and the ice pellets added up around parts of the Maritimes. We went through Thursday night into Friday morning. Around southern areas of New Brunswick, about 2 to 4 centimeters reported. There were variable reports in Prince Edward Island, Summerside about 9 centimeters, the Charlottetown area between 5 and 12 centimeters. But when it comes to that changeover from rain over to ice pellets to snow, a lot of things can make a difference, even in a small geographic area, like, for example, the topography, whether the measurement was made on part of the region that was sitting at a little bit of a higher elevation or a little bit of a lower elevation, or even the time, because some of that snow would have been compacting down through the morning. In Nova Scotia, a lot of the measurements came within around 2 to 6 centimeters, and again, doesn't take all that much on surfaces to make things slippery. That, of course, was also combined with temperatures falling below the freezing mark. Right now, we have some flurries and even some localized snow squalls coming in off the Gulf of St. Lawrence or parts of Cape Breton. Saw some images out of the Inverness area of some blowing and drifting snow. That's going to be ongoing over the next couple of hours, but should be coming to an end towards midnight as the wind direction changes. However, we have another weather system that'll be on its way in for tomorrow, and this one's going to be packing some snow for the Maritimes as well. How much snow out of that next weather system? For a good portion of the region, it might be as much as 5 to 10 centimeters of sort of a wet, compact snow. There are some areas that could see some locally higher amounts, 10 to 15 centimeters, including up towards the northeast of New Brunswick and some eastern areas of Nova Scotia. I will have more on that, the weekend forecast, when I'm back a little bit later on.
Okay, we'll see you later for that. Thank you, Kaylin. We've heard much about the need for support in Nova Scotia to end domestic violence. A provincial committee reviewing a death linked to intimate partner violence is now calling for changes. CTV's Hafsa Arif has been looking into recommendations from a new report. Hafsa, what did it have to say?
Todd, the review began with one case, a death connected to domestic violence that a provincial committee has been studying since January, looking for lessons that could help prevent the next one. While the details of the case remain private, the committee says the circumstances behind it are familiar. One of the biggest concerns in the report is uneven access to support. Services for survivors can vary widely across Nova Scotia, with rural communities often having fewer resources and housing options. The committee is also calling for better coordination between the many agencies and organizations working in the sector. They're suggesting a provincial forum to share ideas and best practices. Other recommendations focus on prevention, including education around gender-based violence for teachers, more mental health supports in schools, and increased housing options for survivors. The report also suggests creating a provincial mobile response team to help service providers respond to domestic violence situations. The committee says the lessons from the case may be familiar, but acting on them is key to preventing the next death. Todd?
Right, Hafsa in the News Center, thank you for that. A new long-term care home near Fredericton is welcoming people and ever so slightly easing congestion at hospitals in the area. As CTV's Avery McRae reports, everyone recognizes it is just a start.
The town of Oromocto now has a long-term care facility to call their own.
All seniors in New Brunswick, we want them to be at the safe place, at the safe area. They will have so many activities with the nursing home without walls.
Maple Ridge is a brand new 60-bed nursing home being operated by Enhanced Living. It's the first nursing home the PEI company has opened in New Brunswick.
We opened on time, on budget, with no change orders, so we're pretty proud of that. If we had an opportunity to do this again in New Brunswick, we would be all for it.
More beds are desperately needed in the province. Last month, the CEO of Horizon Health said around 40% of beds in their hospitals are being used by people waiting for a space in long-term care. As of the end of February, there were 1,006 people on the province's nursing home wait list, 471 of which are waiting in hospitals. On Tuesday, the province will reveal its latest budget, which is expected to come in at a $1.3 billion deficit. Premier Susan Holt has repeatedly said her #1 focus will be health care, and that includes seniors care. Minister Boudreau wouldn't tip her hand when asked repeatedly about how her file may be impacted by the budget, but seniors advocates in the province are hopeful for more focus on seniors care.
There's absolutely no homes on the agenda that I'm aware of. We've been asking for homes to be built, but it takes 27 months for that to happen.
Cecile Casista says there are still thousands of people on the wait list for a bed, and it's affecting the entire healthcare system.
We're hoping that the government will go back to the drawing board and start working on it so we can accommodate all these seniors that are making their homes in hospital settings.
The budget will be unveiled Tuesday afternoon. Avery McRae, CTV News, Oromocto, New Brunswick.
Get the Maritimes top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
New numbers reveal a shocking rise in online sexual exploitation. It paints a picture of Canadian children at risk from threats on the very devices they can't seem to live without. Here's CTV's Emma Convey.
Screen time for kids means entertainment, self-expression, and connecting with friends. But it could also be a doorway to online danger.
The biggest problem that we have is that these platforms were developed and put out there and published with no child safety built into them whatsoever.
Whether it's social media apps or video game platforms, many can lead to problems. Statistics Canada released their latest data on online child sexual exploitation. It found that despite a 16% decrease from 2023 to 2024, the rate of online child exploitation has risen by 347% since 2014. In most cases, involve girls.
The iPad is a world of conversation with lots of people you don't want your kid meeting.
The data found police services across Canada reported 16,905 incidents of online child sexual exploitation, and the number of victims of police-reported offences was 1,649. RCMP too have seen an increase.
What we see generally would be people online sharing child sexual exploitation material. As well, it would be children self-exploiting. A lot of cases of sextortion, so where people are manipulated, children are manipulated online. They think they're speaking to someone their age, and they may share an intimate image or a nude image of themselves, and then someone threatens them.
Corporal Edwards says if your child is secretive around their device, it may be worth having a conversation.
Google's an interesting example where if your kid's under 13, they give parents lots of different granular control for devices and accounts, but when the kid turns 13, which is far too young, they turn the keys over to the kid. That's their policy.
He adds holding these platforms accountable is key.
Now, Todd, one thing the experts I spoke with all agreed on is the need for a law to keep children under the age of 16 off of these platforms. A reminder from police, report any suspicious activities of your children online. Todd.
CTV's Emma Convey live for us in Halifax. Thank you for that. Debate was heated again at Province House today as the government continued to get hammered over the budget. Nova Scotia Premier Tim Houston walked back tens of millions of dollars in cuts. Still, the opposition is pressuring the province to go further. As CTV's Jesse Thomas tells us, the pause button has been hit for March break.
Staring down a record $1.24 billion deficit, Premier Tim Houston said his government has to shrink spending. Although proven unpopular, protests over proposed budget cuts of up to $130 million have been a sizable and steady presence outside the legislature. Under pressure this week, Houston walked back $53.6 million in cuts for seniors, disability, and educational supports. While opposition credits the government for the partial walkback, they want all cuts reversed.
We have a limited resource. And so, we only have so much. Government can only afford to do so much.
Opposition argue the cuts to arts, culture, and tourism sector were poorly thought out, noting tourism revenues last year topped $3 billion.
I'm concerned about since the day this budget came in. This government has not done the work to understand the impact of this budget on Nova Scotians. And as such, they need to pause and take it back. It's not working for people.
Houston wants to grow the economy through energy and natural resource development, but in the meantime, spending has to match the declining revenues.
Look at the deficits in Quebec and Ontario and BC. Look at the federal government. Every other province is making similar decisions.
The Houston government is spending $66 million on arts and culture programming, more than when the Houston PC government came to office.
All of us had to make, right across government, had to make difficult decisions. And truly, we're still investing $66 million, which is a $15 million increase from 2021. And
Premier Houston will miss several days of the budget debate when the legislature resumes following the March break. He'll be traveling to Houston, Texas to attend an energy conference hoping to attract industry here to Nova Scotia. Jesse Thomas, CTV News, Halifax.
Thank you, Jesse. We'll take a time out. First one of the night. Still ahead, we have your weekend forecast. We'll make our Oscar predictions. I won't. Richard Krause will do that. But after the break, America is wrestling with a day of violence.
This is targeting babies who are Jewish. That's anti-Semitism.
Yesterday's attacks at a Michigan synagogue and a Virginia university have people on edge in that country. We will have the latest. Welcome back. We have a correction to make. Last night in this segment, we reported on theft of Pokemon cards in our region. Police are looking for this man in connection to the smash and grab theft at the Cole Harbour Walmart on Monday night. If you have information related to the crime, contact the RCMP or anonymously at Crime Stoppers. We didn't have his picture in the piece last night, so there he is. To the U.S. now, and that country is reeling from two domestic attacks, though not seemingly connected. They are rattling Americans. In Michigan, a man rammed his car into a synagogue. In Virginia, a man convicted of supporting ISIS attacked military members at a university. NBC's Melanie Zanona has the details.
Reports of an active shooter.
Tonight, the nation reeling and recovering from two brutal attacks. While the incidents are not connected to each other, the suspects in both cases have ties to the Middle East. In Michigan, the Department of Homeland Security says it believes the man who drove his car into a Detroit area synagogue is 41-year-old Ayman Mohammed Ghazali, a U.S. citizen born in Lebanon. While law enforcement hasn't pinpointed a motive, a Lebanese official tells NBC News Ghazali lost several family members in an Israeli strike in southern Lebanon last week, including two brothers known to be Hezbollah members. Federal officials revealing details on the suspect behind what they call a targeted attack on the Jewish community. A preschool was in session when the car crashed into the building, but no one was injured.
This is not a political moment. This is not a political debate. This is targeting babies who are Jewish. That's anti-Semitism at its absolute worst.
Whether anti-Semitism is coming from the left or the right, whether it's coming from some group that you like or don't like, you have a responsibility to call it out.
To Virginia, where the FBI is investigating the shooting at Old Dominion University as terrorism. We are learning more about how the suspect, Mohammed Baylor Jalla, died. Police say Jalla, a former Virginia National Guard member, opened fire on an ROTC class, shooting and killing Lieutenant Colonel Brendan Shaw. The ROTC students fought back. Two senior law enforcement officials telling ABC News it appears one student stabbed Jalla.
There were students that were in that room that subdued him,
and rendered him no longer alive.
The guy who stopped it's a hero, so.
In 2016, Jala pled guilty to a terrorism charge and was sentenced to 11 years in prison. At the time, he apologized to the court and American people.
Melanie Znona, NBC News, Washington.
Coming up next, you might start your day shovel in hand. Kayla Mitchell has the weekend weather forecast and details of the white stuff for a lot of us. Our director was saying we haven't actually seen this live eye shot before because we got it and it was in the winter and it was too dark. You couldn't really see anything. So now, because of daylight, we can see South End Halifax.
That's a nice view there, isn't it?
Yeah, if you look to your right, there, of course, are the cranes and then St. Mary's University Tower.
Yes. Now, me being the meteorologist, the first thing I noticed, little shake on that cam.
Yeah,
little shake on that cam.
So that's the wind.
That's the wind, yeah. And that's very noticeable today around the region. Wind is going to diminish as we make our way towards midnight, but turns gusty again for tomorrow as we have that next round of March snow move in. It was kind of a snowy winter for parts of the region, and it's, well, I mean, it's still at this point in March. It is still technically winter, but a little bit more snow to talk about.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at weather conditions across the country first before we get to that. Beginning out west right now, fairly mild around the south coast of BC, 7 right now at Vancouver and 6 at Victoria. Prince George reporting some snow and sitting at -3. It's cold again through parts of the prairies. Edmonton this morning started off the day around -20, up to around -9 now. Fort McMurray sitting at -15. Up in the north, it's -20s at both Whitehorse and Yellowknife. And Iqaluit, even colder, reporting some clear conditions, though, sitting at -27. So a mixture of some snow and some rain making its way through parts of Ontario right now. That's part of the weather system that's on its way to us for tomorrow. Quebec City right now sitting at -3, Fredericton at +1, Halifax -1, Charlottetown -2, and St. John's sitting at +1 with a mix of sun and cloud. Taking a look at our timeline for cloud cover and precipitation. So first of all, in Cape Breton, there's still some flurries and a few snow squalls ongoing off the Gulf of St. Lawrence. That's going to be around for the next couple of hours, but will be diminishing as we make our way towards midnight. At that point in time, it's increasing cloudiness around the Maritimes and some scattered flurries working their way into western areas of New Brunswick and the southwest of Nova Scotia. So watch for those flurries, Digby, Yarmouth, and Shelburne counties. That's ahead of the snow arriving with that low pressure system early Saturday morning. By around 7, snow should be coming down pretty steady. Grand Manan, St. John, Macadam, Digby, Yarmouth, and up towards Liverpool in Nova Scotia. And this is a pretty fast-moving weather system, so that snow is going to fill in quite quickly across the Maritimes from the southwest to the northeast as we move through the morning into the afternoon. When it comes down, could be coming down at some pretty decent rates, enough that parts of the Maritimes see about 5 to 10 centimeters of accumulation, and a few parts of the region, towards the northeast of New Brunswick, where that steadier snow could linger a little bit later into the afternoon, and parts of the east of Nova Scotia, maybe pockets of around 10 to 15 centimeters of snow. That clears out, and then as we move through Saturday evening and Saturday night, partly cloudy conditions with some isolated flurries, and it's a mix of sun and cloud for Sunday. Chance of flurries for Prince Edward Island, eastern areas of Nova Scotia. Winds for tonight become a little bit lighter, become southwest as we make our way towards midnight. And then for tomorrow, the winds change direction as that low pressure system comes through, mostly becoming easterly for New Brunswick and parts of Prince Edward Island, moving into and through Saturday afternoon, remaining mostly out of the southwest for Nova Scotia. But there's going to be some gusts in the Maritimes tomorrow, peaking up between 40 and 60 kilometers per hour. And later Saturday evening, some stronger winds expected from northern Inverness County and Cape Breton. This is because of the topography of the Cape Breton Highlands from that southeast direction. Some of those peak wind gusts could get up to around or in excess of 90 kilometers per hour. So wind warning in effect there. Low temperatures in the forecast for tonight for most of the Maritimes will be falling a few to several degrees below the freezing mark. A little bit colder than that up through northern areas of New Brunswick. There are some lows between -8 and -11. And high temperatures in that part of New Brunswick for tomorrow between -2 and +1. Central and southern areas of New Brunswick for tomorrow with some high temperatures, mostly between 0 and 3 degrees, maybe a little bit milder around Campobello. So that snow, even though it is expected to accumulate, it is going to be sort of that wet, compact type of snow. Prince Edward Island for tomorrow with high temperatures around +1 as that snow moves in and through. Again, could see some amounts, 5 to 10 centimeters. 5 to 10 centimeters, mostly for eastern areas of Nova Scotia with high temperatures between 0 and 4 degrees. And then northern and central areas of Nova Scotia with high temperatures tomorrow between 2 and 5. And in the southwest of Nova Scotia, following in behind that snow, between 4 and 6 degrees. So it there is expected to turn over to some rain, the last part of it as it moves through. And of course, there's going to be some melting of it throughout the day. In the 7-day forecast for New Brunswick, the next mix of snow turning over to rain arrives on Monday. Rain in the forecast for Tuesday of next week. Chillier temperatures follow for Wednesday and Thursday, but it's a mix of sun and cloud. Snow possible on Friday. For Nova Scotia, in the outlook, we've got that mixture of snow and rain coming through on Saturday. Sunday will actually be a mix of sun and cloud. There'll be some rain that arrives late in Monday on going into Tuesday. A mix of sun and cloud follows for Wednesday and Thursday of next week. Chance of flurries on Friday. And for Prince Edward Island, the forecast, snow for tomorrow, then a chance of flurries on Sunday. Next round of rain late Monday into Tuesday. That's followed by mix of sun and cloud Wednesday and Thursday of next week. Chance of flurries on Friday, Todd.
Not cool, Kayla, and I don't want a shovel on us.
Nobody does, Todd. Nobody
Done
does.
with that in February. Okay, we'll see you at the end of the show. Next, CTV film critic Richard Krause shares his picks for Oscar awards. Get your bracket ready. Hollywood's biggest night is Sunday. The 98th Oscars air here on CTV. Joining us with his picks for the big categories is our film critic, Richard Krause. Is this a big night for you? Do you get worked up about this?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm more excited about it this year because it's a little less certain in many of the categories than it has been in the past. I do all the math. So what I do is I watch all the award shows leading up to the Oscars. I figure out who's won all of those. I look at the lost betting pools. I look at a bunch of stuff, and then I put it all together. This year, there have been a lot of ups and downs and shakeups, which make it a little harder to predict, and I like that. I would rather not know, like the analogy is, you watch a baseball game and you know who's going to win and what the score is. It's less interesting. Yeah. So I kind of like that it's a little wider open this year.
I know people want to hear from you for their own brackets if they do that kind of thing. But first, let me ask you, what was your overall impression of the slate of movies this past year? Was it a good year?
You know, yeah, it was a good year. I mean, if you look at things like Marty Supreme, which I think is a movie that we'll be talking about still years from now, it's a really exciting movie. Blue Moon is another movie that I think didn't get as much attention as it probably should have, but really is an absolutely superior film with a great performance from Ethan Hawke. Sinners, which they call genre fluid. It starts off at one thing and then becomes a horror film after that. Was a really exciting thing to see in theaters. So yeah, it was a good year.
Okay, look, I've already eaten too much time. People just want to hear what you think about these categories, and I want to make sure we fit them all in. So let's start with Best Director. And there are the nominees. Who do you like?
Well, I think, having done the math on this one, that it's going to be Paul Thomas Anderson. He's been winning consistently. He is someone who is kind of revered by other filmmakers, and he's never won a Best Directing Oscar. So I think it's his time this year. The biggest threat is Ryan Coogler for Sinners, but he's a young guy who's got what will probably be an exciting career ahead of him. He's got time to win one of these. I think this is Paul Thomas Anderson's to lose.
Okay, one battle after another. Let's go to the acting categories now. We'll begin with Best Female Actor in a Supporting Role. I believe we have the rundown of the candidates or the nominees there. Again, who do you think has the nod in this?
Well, I think it's going to be Teyana Taylor from One Battle After Another. The odds makers in Vegas are calling for her. She won a Golden Globe. The upset here could be Amy Madigan for Weapons. She won a SAG award for a horror film, which is very unusual. But here's the thing that makes me wonder about that. It's because only once this century has a movie won Best Supporting Actress with no other nominations, and that was Vicky Cristina Barcelona for Penelope Cruz. Other than that, it's only happened a handful of other times, and that was 50 years ago. So I don't know if there's enough heat going into that to get Amy Madigan across the line, but Teyana Taylor's a great actor.
Supporting male, we have, again, the list here. And, boy, that's tight competition. Sean Penn, maybe an outsider on this one?
I think it's going to be Sean Penn for this one.
Not Stone Skarsgård. I mean, he seems to be the,
he's the
popular,
next in, he's the next in line. He's the next in line for me. So it's Sean Penn, who has been doing very well. He's a Hollywood guy. You know, he's regarded as one of the best actors of his generation. I think it's his to lose. But if he does lose somehow, and this is a bit of a coin toss, it'll be Stellan Skarsgård. I think Stellan Skarsgård, in sentimental value, puts out a career-topping performance, and he's really, really good in it. Subtle, beautiful work. You know, if I was choosing, Benicio del Toro would win, just because when they ask him in one battle after another, they say, "What have you been doing?" He goes, "Oh, I had a few little beers."
I know, he was very good. I mean, the guy, he elevates every film, right?
Sure does.
Okay, let's go to the biggies now. Nominees for best acting performances. So male actor, and look, we're going to call Ethan Hawke a part-time Maritimer here. So maybe
he has a place down there. Yeah.
So maybe he's my sentimental favorite, but this is really shaped up to be quite a battle between Timothée Chalamet and Michael B. Jordan, eh?
Yeah, it sure has. And I've talked to Ethan Hawke about his place in Nova Scotia, and he loves it down there. Yeah. Michael B. Jordan is my choice in this. And I say that because he won the Screen Actors Guild Award for Sinners. And the way the Academy works is that actors vote for actors, directors vote for directors, etc., and then everybody votes for Best Picture. And there's a lot of heat going in on this category for Michael B. Jordan, and he won the actor a week or so ago, just as the voting for Oscars closed. So Timothée Chalamet, Ethan Hawke, both had my heart earlier on in the campaign, but it's going to be Michael B. Jordan.
Before, they both have stellar careers. They're both young. I mean, there's a lot of runway left for those two. Okay, best female in a leading role. There are the nominees, and do we even bother talking about anyone other than Jessie Buckley?
No, Jessie Buckley is going to take this. She is, in Hamnet, delivers a performance that is harrowing. It is uplifting. That last 20 minutes is so beautiful. And that, I think, is what will win her the Academy Award, that last 20 minutes. And I don't want to say what happens in it, but it is the culmination of pain and working through these massive problems that she has had all the way through the film. And then all of a sudden, she has an awakening. And it's a beautiful thing. And
the camera is so intimate with her, it's almost intrusive.
Yeah.
You know, that last half hour or so.
It really is. And so it's hers to lose. Everyone else may as well just stay home.
Okay. The biggie, Best Picture. There's, what, 10 of them? You can, barely make out the thumbnails there, but...
I think it's going to be one battle after another. Just... again, doing the math on this, being cold and clinical about it, that seems to be the movie that has won all of the real key predictors, like the DGA, the Directors Guild Award, the BAFTA, the Golden Globe. It's won the Guild prizes that seem to point towards Oscar success. So I would be very surprised if it doesn't. If it doesn't win, though, it will be Sinners, I think. And I think what's going to happen this year at the Academy Awards is you're going to have everyone from Sinners sitting on the left side of the auditorium, everyone from one battle after another sitting on the other side, and they're just going to watch one another go back up and forth to the stage, because I think it's just going to ping pong back and forth between those two movies.
Okay, all right, those are good picks. Before we go, Conan O'Brien back. What do you think?
Big thumbs up for Conan O'Brien. I think he is funny. He's an insider. He made his film debut this year, and if I had legs, I'd kick you. He is tremendous. Nobody makes me laugh quite like Conan O'Brien does. So silly, absurd, and still really smart. He's my guy.
Yeah, and he doesn't work for a network anymore, so he's not beholden to anybody or anything. So that's that always makes it a bit of a wild card, as well. So that's always fun. Richard, thank you very much. Next time we'll talk, we'll keep the scorecard and find out how you made out.
Yeah, we'll see how that works
Okay.
out. Don't bet any money on this based on my picks.
Heavens no. Okay, see you soon. Enjoy Sunday night. Thanks. And don't forget, you can watch the Academy Awards here on CTV on Sunday evening. We'll take a time out. We'll be right back. Health headlines now, and your smartwatch could give you warnings about abnormal heartbeats. CTV's Stephanie Seekos has the details in the Friday edition of The Lifeline.
Smartwatches don't just tell time. Many can track our heart rhythm, warning us of signs that could even save lives. Some new smartwatches can warn of unhealthy heartbeats like AFib, a risk factor for stroke and heart failure. According to a study in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology, using advanced smartwatches, looking out for abnormal heartbeat notifications, and then getting follow-up with doctors is more than 4 times better at finding AFib, even early signs, than not using smartwatches. And it turns out your daily walk matters in more ways than you may think. While it's often dismissed as just cardio or something to reach your step count or get fresh air, it acts as far more than a calorie-burning activity. It reinforces the alignment, stability, and coordinated muscle activation that supports how your body moves, whether you're doing strenuous exercise or simply going about daily life. While it's often been thought it's important to reach 10,000 steps per day, recent studies have shown aiming for 7,000 can help reduce health risks. With health and medical news, I'm Stephanie Seekos for The Lifeline.
It's time for The Scene, and Canadian actor Patrick J. Adams has returned to his hometown to promote a new TV series. CTV's Andrea Case sat down with the actor and his co-star to learn more about Madison.
Hi. Hi. Toronto native and Los Angeles-based actor Patrick J. Adams is home for a couple of days, but this is his new co-star Ella Chapman's first trip to Canada.
Has Patrick been showing you around? He has, actually. He took me to a really good restaurant last night. What was it?
Union.
On
Ossington.
Okay. It was delicious, and apparently we're going somewhere else tonight.
Tonight.
Tironi.
The original.
The original. So I'm getting the full tour.
They are here to promote their new TV series, Madison. This is Chapman's big break. The Virginia native, former model, and groundling sketch comedy improvisation performer got emotional when I reminded her how far she's come in such a short time.
Aww. That makes me want to cry. I'm like, if I feel so lucky. Yeah, sorry. Just I don't know, that struck a chord in me. Yeah, I feel really lucky.
Madison stars Michelle Pfeiffer and Kurt Russell. The series is the latest offering from Academy Award nominee Taylor Sheridan. In it, a family is dealing with an unimaginable loss.
Mine is not a family designed to withstand tragedy.
Adams is a veteran performer whose breakout role was in the long-running series Suits, which was shot in Toronto.
I think it's time for one last con.
And now to get a phone call to come and join this universe and work with a writer who's as prolific and committed to telling the story as Taylor is, and then to get paired up with this just irrationally, insanely talented cast is, yeah, I can't believe I get another version of that in my life. I feel really grateful.
Shot in Montana and New York City, they believe this show will give people a lot to think and talk about.
I think if people have suffered grief, or sadly will in the future, it's really helpful to be reminded that in order to move through that, I think with grace and get to the other side of it, we have to do it with people, the people we love, and a lot of times that hopefully is our family. So that's what the show's about.
But they promise there are some lighter moments.
We got a fish! The show is just cathartic, I think, and we had so much fun making it, and we are so proud of it, and I hope that people find as much love in it that we did.
Madison debuts tomorrow on Paramount+. Andrea Case, CTV News.
With Aaron and Peter.
Aaron and Peter's payroll is back, and it's the easiest job you'll ever have.
Register now at move100halifax.ca and then listen for your name Monday at 8.
On the markets, the Dow continued its trend as it closed out the trading week down 120 points, and the Canadian economy lost about 84,000 jobs in February. That wasn't what most economists had expected. Let's get the details now from B&M Bloomberg's Morella Fernandez.
That kicked the unemployment rate up to 6.7%. The majority of the jobs lost were in the private sector. Young workers are feeling this the most. Employment fell 1.7% for Canadians 15 to 24. Both wholesale and retail jobs were lost, and Quebec lost the most jobs in February, followed by BC. A top executive of BYD, China's largest car maker, tells Bloomberg it's considering building a manufacturing facility in Canada. Ottawa recently announced it will allow 49,000 Chinese-made EVs to be sold in this country without a tariff, and BYD has already applied for a permit to do that. The U.S. is investigating whether some of its trade partners, including Canada, have policies that discriminate against them. Washington has been looking at ways to reintroduce tariffs struck down by the U.S. Supreme Court last month. It is also investigating the EU, Mexico, Japan, Norway, and others. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is down to 72.84. West Texas Intermediate is up another $2 to 98.04. Western Canadian Select up close to $8 to 79.96. And the TSX lost another 298 points today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Morella Fernandez.
And that is why the interrupter clause will be used in Nova Scotia at midnight tonight. So, Kalen, if you got to fill up, do it.
Yeah, and if you're going to do so, put on something a little bit warmer. It's chilly out here, and it's going to be a chilly to cold night across the Maritimes. So the wind is eased up a bit, and so that's nice. Taking a look at our viewer picture for tonight. This is a nice shot. It's coming in from a sunset from Big Island, Nova Scotia, sent in by Ken Scott. I want to thank Ken very much for taking the time to share that with us. Big Island for tomorrow, there's some snow coming through, and it could be as much as 5 to 10 centimeters. The afternoon high temperature coming up near 2 degrees, so it's going to be a wet snow, and it'll be melting a little bit later in the day. Day planner for tomorrow shows the first of that steadier snow coming into the southwest New Brunswick and the southwest Nova Scotia early Saturday morning. For Nova Scotia, the last part of that snow is expected to mix with or turn over to some rain. It is pretty fast moving as far as the weather system goes itself, so the snow fills in across the Maritimes very quickly from the north southwest to the northeast, and again, some general snowfall amounts can be expected to be in the range around 5 to 10 centimeters. So there may be some pockets in eastern areas of New Brunswick and the east of Nova Scotia that could be a little bit higher, maybe in the 10 to 15 centimeter range. Most of the afternoon high temperatures will come up towards the low to mid single digits. Let's find out what's ahead on your Morning Atlantic.
Monday on Your Morning Atlantic, aprons in action. We'll get all the details on a fun new fundraiser that's cooking up support for Diabetes Canada. Start your morning with us Monday on Your Morning Atlantic on CTV2 and Crave.
And finally for us tonight, a relic from the past is helping students connect with seniors. In the days where pretty much everyone has a cell phone, a new pay phone on the streets of Boston is getting attention. This phone invites people to call a boomer for free. Call a boomer. When you do, callers reach a senior's home way out in Reno, Nevada. Now, the idea is the brainchild of a neuroscience company which is aiming to reduce loneliness in boomers and members of Gen Z. Be some interesting conversations. That is our look at the day here at home. CTV News Atlantic.ca has our weekend reporting. Bruce will be here at 11:30. Now the names of everyone who brings you your newscast each night and scenes of Eastern Passage, Nova Scotia. As we leave you, I'm Todd Battis. Have a nice weekend. Hope to see you Monday. Good night.
CTV News, the Maritimes' #1 newscast. Watch live on Crave.